fully being heard right now.
I
So
know.
yeah. Thank you for saying something inappropriate earlier. No,
You trying to throw me under the cat bus. That's hilarious. No, I didn't say anything inappropriate. I was just talking about how like SNL used to do this thing.
sure.
They did this cold open where you could hear the cameraman and the directors talking over the air as they started the show, and then they would go live with the cold open. And I just thought we could do that too because we're just talking about technical stuff. We were talking about how Matt he applied for an X subscription. How long ago now, Matt?
I think January or February is when I applied for it.
So it's been like, it's almost been it's been most of the year so far. He's been waiting. I had the same problem. I like put in my request in, well, it was September, October last year when I started doing this a year ago. And then basically we just got a campaign going on. I got a bunch of the people who were like influencers, who were my followers. We'd all like, every time Elon Musk would post something, especially if he posted how, X is a great platform for creators, we'd all pile in and say, well, then, why is Tesla Tracker, having to wait so long? He puts all this great content. Why is he still not getting his subscription approved? And it was one of those posts like the next, like that night, Elon must have just like pointed to his guy and said, hey, hook this guy up.
But I think you also know the right crowd. Like for example, like I had to start a new account.
My followers are your followers too, guys. So we could just do another not a whisper campaign, like a shouting campaign to like get Matt's X subscription approved, because he's got what I think is outside of this group, Matt has like the best TA on the planet. Absolutely, 100%. I totally believe it. And everyone here is like really good at what they do too. Matt's charts are just.
Well, I think it depends on what your strategy is. If people want like longer term, then I think it's good. If people want shorter term, I don't think it's that great. Yeah. I think what A does short term is pretty amazing.
You know what that scratchy noise is? Is Danny here?
I thought someone was going for an ASMR thing.
Yes. Gotta be Danny. Nobody else makes that noise.
It was me.
Hey, Danny, good morning. All right. So anyway, I think I stalled the audience long enough. We can go ahead and start the show.
Well, your chart's up for Bitcoin.
Oh, it is. My chart is up. Hi, everybody.
I didn't mention Bitcoin in the description, but we're going to start off
the tracker, and you're looking at my chart here for Bitcoin. This is just for this weekend. Let me just pull this back real quick. Here's like a 1 week. Oh no, wait. I should just have a different chart. Let's duplicate this. I don't mess it up.
Who's playing around with paper here? So we got the Tesla Tracker who's going to start us out. I think.
Yep.
Yeah, he's going to show us his awesome Bitcoin chart. We got the Great Matsby. We got Heidi here. I think Danny's maybe around as well, lurking in the background. He's still outside, but he's going to try to join us. So, Tracker, take it away.
All right. I just need to. I don't need to do that. So just basically, Bitcoin has been in a triangle, right? You can always drop a triangle on any of these. Anytime price is sort of consolidating, it's really crucial to track the resistance line, and it makes a triangle when it's a descending resistance line that is going to intersect with an ascending supporting trend line. So you just take the first 2 points, and then sometimes you get a point that kind of invalidates the earlier points. Look at this. This almost looked like it was going to be an inverse head and shoulders, but not quite. And then right here, we've got these 2 points down here that form the support trend. And, even after it touched these 2 points down here, it did not go back. I thought maybe there's a chance it would go back for one more time, but I don't think it's going to. We're so close right now. So this is like the zoomed in portion of this. Friday's close, it's like right here. Right here. This is the Friday market close. Remember, it was so exciting because it looked like it was just going to crest. It was going to break out, and it didn't. It just basically touched just $2 under 69,000 here, and now it's the weekend. So I personally I trimmed a bunch of miners just in case this decides to retrace all the way back down to here again. just in case. But even if not,
Ooh.
it could just hang out around here, and
Ooh.
I could at worst, price might go over the top this weekend and then come back down into the Monday open, and I could just rebuy everything over here if I wanted to. That's it. Or maybe we open it down here, and this week we get to do the breakout. Usually, you guys know it almost never breaks out on the first test of a major resistance. And just like here, we got the first time rejection right here. And then I did a little technical thing, and Kat said, "Don't get too technical this show." So I'll keep it short. But basically, it's beautiful because I just did a standard retrace from this point down here at 66,000 back up to where we hit the top, and look where we are right now. It just is bouncing off of the 38.2% retrace. So next, a standard retrace would go to the 23.6 up here at 68,439, and then either it keeps going and it doesn't retrace, and that would make a really cool. I could do a Fibonacci extension off of that, but it's more than likely is going to retrace down to the 61.8% here at 67,535.
Yeah.
And then after that, it could go back up just crazy before by Sunday midnight. We'll have to see. I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen Sunday midnight. We could be down here. We could be right back up here again. We could even be over the top of it and testing back down. I would love that. A would love that. I know for sure. And then in case this breaks down and 67,000 doesn't hold, well, here's the next retrace on the left-hand side here, retracing from this 68,998 high back to this level right here. And look what happened. It's a perfect 38.2% right here where the 61.8% ends in the smaller retrace. So if it comes down here, then maybe, and it can't get back over 68.08. Here, let me just draw. So if it does all this, then this would be the 23.6, and then this would be the 61.8 over here. So just, if this doesn't hold, then that's our next lower low to, it's still a higher low, but this is where we test next. Anyway, I'm tracing this all. I'm tracking this all weekend. You can watch it on my
type of move right now. I was just saying, like all this, that I would 100% agree if we weren't in melt up season. Like Bitcoin is showing me everything it did last year, and it did it around the same time. October 14th is when it started the impulse move, and everyone thought it would break down top. So I'm curious to look if you go back to October 14th.
It's right here. Here it is.
It's the impulse move it does in Q4. So it's the third time I've seen, or this would be the third time I've seen it if it does it. So it's done it already twice every cycle.
Here you can see what happened is it had a trend line. Actually, wait, my trend line's kind of messy here. Let's fix it. This is interesting.
It's so nice. It's so nice you going over the chart for me, and I can just look.
Absolutely, I love this. Is what I do. So look, this was the triangle it was in back then. This is last October, and right here on October 16th, it came from all the way down from downtown,
literally
way up to here, and then that's where this trend was, and then it did this long pullback. And you look at it, and it's a big old W for winning. Always look for this pattern. If you see that. And then it does a little lick off down here, and then takes off. The W. This is the W pattern right there.
It's happening, guys. You guys saw the position. I'm either getting a divorce. I bought way too much Bitcoin. I only had 6, so we added a lot. So I averaged up. I don't even care, guys. Like I'm so bullish right now, right here in this very moment.
And this is a longer time frame thing, right? It's not just
I can hold it for 4 years. Like I don't need
this is a long, higher time frame.
Well, like even
you just change your outlook based on what you're seeing in the price action too, right? Yeah.
And even others like Doge is going up too and stuff. It's looking good. It's looking good.
I just want to point out one last thing, and I'll shut up a bit about Bitcoin. Is after it ran up here from downtown, it pulled back. Let me just do a quick retrace.
Yeah, I got a quick chart to show too. I got a 4-hour chart to show too after you're done. that's going to show you some confluence.
Yeah, it pulled back to the 50% retrace here. So I'll look for the 50% on this time, and it comes back up. It makes a new higher high, pulls back down, and really it doesn't break out until like initial touch 1, 2. The third time was the charm.
Beautiful.
Initial touch.
Yeah, beautiful.
So here we are over here. So what if it comes down to the 50% retrace again? Not that it's always going to do it, but yeah, look for either 67, 815 if it gets stuck right here and starts to go back up, or this 50%.
Okay.
At 66, 900.
Okay.
I'd say just here, take your screenshots. This one or this one.
Take your screenshots, guys.
Take your screenshots, guys. I think.
Fix his chart if you want to. He does that to you all the time. So.
All in the bathroom, though.
I'll be keeping up with this all weekend long. This is my fun weekend project right here.
I actually have a lot of confluence for you if you want to switch over.
All right, go ahead. I'm done.
Yeah. So I started doing these like 4-hour charts just for fun because I don't trade it. I don't really care. You can see like the entire way up, it's been, kind of looking a little bit exhausted all the way since like 59K all the way up to like 69K, which is y'all's favorite number. But it's been going up on, bearish divergence. You've been having a lot of like bearish divergences kind of building up here. So I can totally see a retrace back to where you were saying around 67, 500, which is also kind of what I have here as well. The couple of things that very important to look at is one, these are like 4-hour candles, and even if it retraces all the way down here to like to the 67,500 range, it could still be more or less like an inside candle to this big giant green candle, and it was on really high volume too on Friday, right? So even if it retraces all the way back down, it could just be cooling off the bearish divergence before further bullish continuation. The resistance still going to be around like 69K. But I can totally see it just cooling off the entire weekend. And that's what Bitcoin always does. Like, it just cools off. Like, on the weekend, it just chops. And then, like, Friday, whatever.
Look what it did last weekend.
And then Monday, when it went open.
1 hour after close, it ripped.
Yeah, it's like usually weekend doesn't really do too much anyway. It's just, like, opportunity to reset the technicals and cool things down. So I can totally see it tapping maybe around, like, the high 67,000 range, and before it kind of rips up. I can totally see that. If you're looking at some of the smaller time frame technicals, like, it did kind of lose the conversion here, kind of like it did over here. It's not really that big of a concern. It did lose an angle though, but it was just building a lot of pressure. Like, the angle just couldn't hold it anymore, so it broke through the angle. Right now we're just maybe rounding down the arc here a little bit. A couple of things to also see too is the entire uptrend over here has been following the 20 moving average pretty nicely. So I don't know, like, maybe it does go down underneath of it, but I can totally see it like tapping the 20 moving average around like 67 mid 67s or something like that. And this might still end up being like inside candle over here, and it would just push through the 69,000 sometime next week. I can totally see that. Though I don't know what you guys think, but and I don't want to like get too much focusing on like the short term thing, because on the weekend I usually like to just kind of zoom out, look a little bit of like a bigger picture, and the bigger picture looked fantastic. Like, I don't know, like I'm gonna Matt, talk about the bigger picture, man.
Yeah, so I got the daily chart pulled up here, and I pointed out, like, starting the beginning of the week, everybody was talking about going short, and I was saying, well, this is different than before because it was like this huge bullish engulfing and continuation, and I was like, it's going to be a magnet for this is my linear scale chart too, by the way, to the 69,100, and it still hasn't even touched it yet. And you can see before it did wick above twice, so I think it's still going to be a magnet for price, but that's going to be my level really to close above. And once it starts closing days above that, or weeks, or both, then I think it'll go much higher. But this is like the last line it's got to get above. But what I'm kind of seeing right now is just basically price is kind of like building a base maybe on these previous bodies of these candles right here. And I don't know if it is going to go lower, because it does seem like there's pretty good support. But if it did break, then the possibility to maybe come back down to maybe this previous support zone right here with all these candles is there too, and that's around what 67.3 or so. So I think it's looking like it is trying to build a base to move its next leg higher, and I'm not sure if it is going to be able to be pushed down further than that zone. I mean, worst case, maybe this zone right here where all this previous resistance was flipped to support. But either way, this chart is looking more and more bullish, and people that are talking about shorting it, I think, is a mistake even still, because even though there is resistance above, I think it's going to get broken. And after that gets broken, then I think it could be a clear shot to like the previous all-time highs back here. And also after that, just shoot straight up to this 45-degree angle, which is going to be basically around 80,000. So I think that could be next. And then after that, the sky's the limit into the 110,000s and above. So I think the momentum is really going to be in your favor once it's back above 69,000.
Oh, looks delicious.
What's that, A?
A's trying to like talk with his low toned sexy voice here. What did you say?
My wife is sleeping, so I was like, you know what, let me hop on. We're gonna go to the fresh market, and like we're supposed to go at 9. It's 9:20, so I was like, oh yeah.
Hey, you whatever things they're planned, it always happens whenever your wife's ready. So it does, yeah.
Hell yeah, exactly. That's how I was like, when the dogs are sleeping comfortably in there, I'm like, let me pop out of the room and go to the next one. So I'm vibing. But I agree with you. I think the impulse move, I think 69, like a 66.5 weekly close is honestly enough for me to like feel confident for the bull run. Even if we enter the first half of the week with like a pullback, I do not think if we get the close above 66.5 that we're going to close underneath for at least the next 2 weeks. I think we'll see like that range, maybe even maybe a pullback leading into Sunday, but I just don't think 66.5 is going to be we're going to close under. I don't see it.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of confluence there too. I just pulled the recent fib from the all-time high down to that low back in August 5th, and it is getting rejected by the 786, and that's where it got rejected before. So 68.612, and yeah, 66.5 is the halfway fib between the 618 and the 786. So yeah, exactly. I think 66.5 is going to be like the line in the sand, and I think it's going to just if it did go down there, that would be maybe quote unquote max pain. Yeah, but got to break this 786 on weekly closes, in my opinion, to get a lot more bullish. So 68.612, that's the first level. Then maybe 69 is the second. And then after that, it could be 71 and then Boomtown, right? So
we'll to 74,000.
Yeah, 68.6 is going to be the condom. If you break the condom, you're going to have a baby.
Well, this 8862 is pretty good. Look at that. A lot of resistance there too. So like 68, then 71, and then after 71, it's like no stopping it. So
the 866 is like the intermittent every other day birth control pill. Like it may work, it may not. But
your analogies are off the charts. And I mean off the charts, like way up here off the charts.
Hey guys, if I'm laughing, let me just say one thing. I keep laughing and you guys are like talking. It's because I'm making memes of Andy.
Bit farms to the moon. Yeah. Anyway. Heidi, are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm just being quiet.
Don't be quiet. Don't
you guys are having so much fun.
We're having
fun too.
With you. And do you have anything to say about Bitcoin, or maybe we can talk some of your miners, anything you
let
want
me
to talk
Bitcoin
about?
before let me hop on.
Oh, hey, yeah, go for it.
A can have at it.
Ooh.
Do you have a chart you want to share? A?
Yeah, I do. You can share a screen.
You got to share it first.
How do I? Oh, right. I forgot. Like I don't have this shit.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right.
There you go.
Got all my gay porn down. We're good. All right.
That's the only way things moon, man. Lots of home up.
Just a reminder for the audience out there: A is talking real quiet so he doesn't wake up his wife and then have to leave for the plans.
I gotta go. No, but Bitcoin. These lines are the last 3 kind of like local highs that it hit. You can see right here is the previous one at the 66.6, 60, 65, and then obviously back here at like 70,000. the things that really stand out to me is the volume. I mean, we got to 70,000 with a lot less volume, and as you can see, like it disappears, comes back, but typically over like 55, and I'm sure Danny agrees because his charts are similar to mine. But 55 is where you start to feel comfortable on the daily time frame to build a position. And this looks kind of ugly. I don't like that, but let's go to the weekly. We'll stick to bigger time frames. So this is really what I'm interested in. And we can just look at this. I mean, this pattern right here, and I don't even need to look at indicators to feel like pretty comfortable with this entire setup. And this is what I was telling Tracker. Look at the date. Like it really started the exact same day, 16th, kind of crazy, 14th, and you know the move really just started from there. The only thing that I was looking at, SPY kind of did the same thing, and it's been mirroring SPY. But and then we go into advanced RSI. This is really what gave me the confirmation to buy a shit ton of Bitcoin. Is buy a signal on the weekly typically doesn't pop out too often. When it does, it's pretty accurate on this time frame on the weekly, especially for like a hard uptrend. So the last time we got it was obviously October. Yeah, the October date. And if we get the close, hold on one sec. This is I'm gonna make it bigger.
I love your river. Your river really tells a very good story.
It does, yeah. So the close above 66.78 or 66, basically like 66.7, 66.8. That's what I don't want to see this line, because if it doesn't close Sunday, it'll retrace down. So a close underneath that will tell me that this was like honestly a fake move. So and my buy signal is still here. We're still well above the 66 by like about like 1,000 something. I'm bad at math and I don't feel like doing it, but that's the number I'm looking out for.
I'm just curious, is that river like an EMA river, or is that like a anchored VWAP?
Hey, you're muted.
Or
are you?
I think his connection.
His wife woke up. Lost A.
It
might have been his connection, because I heard some kind of with his voice. Yeah,
his wife woke up and he had to go real fast. He's like, "Oh wait, I was supposed to be an X-free weekend."
Or he heard your question. He's like, "I can't answer that question. I got
You said this weekend was all about me."
No, he's back. He's back.
Oh, okay. What happened, man?
That whole time?
Yeah, you were. You lost connection. So go ahead.
My bad.
Ask the question too.
My bad. So the breakout right here really just confirms it. So if today's Saturday, let's say we absolutely nuke tomorrow, that would suck, because the close underneath this would kind of just I would have more confirmation here that we're going to come retest like a lower level. Maybe not this low. I'll go into the 3-day to look, but really need the 66.7 close. So these are a little bit tighter. So this is where I would expect, if we don't close above that key level I'm looking at on the weekly, like a 65.4 or 5 makes a little bit more sense. So those are like my key levels that I'm really watching, and I'm hyped. I think the bull run is starting. I'm saying it, so we'll see if I'm wrong or right. And even if I'm wrong, I'll be right eventually.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about Bitcoin. Like it's been consolidating for so long that it looks like it wants to go up if you have to pick direction. So it doesn't even matter. Like, I understand like usually you like to be a little bit more surgical and more precise, but even you're like, yeah, I can average up. I don't care. You can go down to like 65, 66. I don't care. Like this is really amazing.
Like I'm not trying to like I'm not trying to be. What's up?
Hey, was that your river there? Was it like a set of EMAs, or is it based off
advanced,
of VWAP?
It's advanced RSI, so it's just essentially RSI, but then they bring price action with it. So it has a RSI with support and resistance levels, and the river itself, the lines never fall. They can never go overextended or underextended. Kind of like an overbought can never be too overbought or oversold before kind of retracing. So the river is like where it always attracts to, like a magnet, to the upside or to the downside. So if it breaks off the third line or the top line, it typically goes off of like a hard run. And if it obviously breaks off of the bottom, it typically goes on a hard downtrend.
That's so cool.
It's pretty accurate.
Interesting.
Is yours advanced RSI by like usable Wi-Fi, Edge Terminal, Rick Simpson, Crypto CT? There's like 6, 7 Vash's advanced RSI.
Oh, no. I'll send you the real one. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, if you can, that'd be great. Because it looks pretty amazing.
And then hold on, I'll go back to the screen. It works for all time frames. Like I could just trade off that. That's why I'm pretty accurate with like my predictions, because it really doesn't. Hold on, now I'm just gonna go back to the screen for a second.
Yeah,
I just want to show you how it looks on the 4 hour.
Can we share? Are you able to share your screen?
Yeah, is it sharing?
Not yet.
So you can even see on like the monthly. Look at this shit.
Is Matt awake? Is he around?
Yeah, I'm. What happened to it?
Can you see?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, we can see it now.
So this is the monthly. You can see even the monthly is telling us.
Wow. Beautiful bounce.
Perfect back test too.
Yeah, back test is always so about back test it, and then like every time frame, it's really just telling us that it's ready to go.
Yeah.
Like hold on, the dailies telling us it needs to cool off today, and then probably bounce right here at this 66.5. The key level of my sanity is hanging on at 66.5, guys. So everyone.
That's what I'm seeing too on the bearish diversions. I think it's going to cool down a little bit down further, but it's no big
deal. And then
the
thing, like when the river itself is going, this is how you use it on a 4 hour time frame. When the river itself is going like up, we're bullish on that time frame, and then you can see what happens when it's going down. The river controls the direction.
Now everyone is watering at the mouth. They all want to know the name of this tool.
Hell yeah, I got you.
There's all these questions in the chat about it.
Yeah, you got everybody mouth watering.
Yeah, it's nice. And then 4 hour time frame real quick. I said I wasn't gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it. So they keep adding on like buy. This wasn't here yesterday. This was here yesterday, and then this was smaller, and then this got smaller. So I pay attention. So this was up to 72. They pushed it down. So they're taking off orders, which tells me, look, this is gonna bounce right here, guys, on the 4 hour time frame. The only problem is it's going to be a constant, like volume needs to show up here for it to blast through. Or, obviously as it goes into the buy areas, volume decreases, and it'll definitely win this battle here. So the battle between bears will take this layer out to 67, and then hopefully that's where it gets a strong bounce. And then, 81%, it looks decent. It's been holding on. And then this looks like it's hanging on by a thread. So typically when I get an OB though, I change my settings around. So it's a little more like quicker. I change them around for like a kind of V-shaped recovery. It's like 5 to 20. I do it on the fastest setting at 5. So it moves a lot. Otherwise they're thicker and you can't see them you can't see as much data. So it breaks it down in a sense of like a short squeeze is about to come. I'm calling it. Watch this shit. So it's going to do some shit like this, and then boom. So it's coming. Or my mental health is gone. So
what are you thinking longer time frame? I know initially when we were kind of talking, you were a little bit more cautious. You think that the bull cycle is not going to last as long. There are some cautionary there from the macro as well. Like, what are you thinking now?
Right now, I like how the rate cuts. If we get more rate cuts, there's no denying. But my thing is, I think we're just gonna see like another parabolic move. But everyone talks about like a 4-year cycle, but it's really just a 2-year cycle. It's 2 years on, 2 years off. It's 2 years of a bear market. So when people talk about the 4-year cycle, you forget to add the bear market equation.
Well, so what do you call like from March 24, the top down to basically the bottom of August?
I call it, this is what trips me out. So I call this stable volatility and with the ETFs. So I think we might be entering like our era of like shorter bear markets quicker. Like we're never going to see this shit again because ETFs and spot are buying too much. So look at the difference in last bear market. Look at how far we actually dipped. And then look at how far we actually dipped here. We never dipped. We always recovered. Here, it was like, we fucking done. So I think, this year it's going to hit a local high, or not a local high. It's going to hit a new high. And I have my money on like 95. It makes sense to me because I'll typically just make my targets like this. One sec. I'll typically just go, and it hasn't failed me or my mentor the last cycle, so the last 2 cycles. And I used him to trade essentially. So you can measure it, and then you just you literally just measure it, and that's typically how much it grows. But the only thing that trips me out is ETFs were here. So I wonder if this percent now we can add to the upside. So then that's when I'm like, it's going to probably be a harder run. So I'm probably off. Like I used to think 85, 95, but it might be like 25. And that's me being like a super bull. I'm never like unrealistic with the charts. So I'm pretty bullish though. So if rate cuts though continue, then I think Bitcoin is going to continue to consolidate, and we're going to have to rotate into the alts. I don't think Bitcoin really cares too much about rate cuts.
You're also seeing IWM, the Russell 2000 is also having some pretty positive reaction to it too. Like keeps on wanting to go down, but it doesn't. So it does seem like they want to push things higher just overall.
Yeah, IWM monthly looks nuts.
Yeah,
so
looks at
this
that
looks like it's about to break out.
Yeah, look at that beautiful cup, man. It's like amazing.
Yeah.
It looks like it just wants to
the
break
only
out.
thing that concerns me on the monthly is this has to retrace down. They can never, like, as you can see, unless it does like this, like a forever run for a few months. That rarely happens, but only in bull markets, and we're in one. So maybe we see IWM the river start to curl up a bit, because I like to draw this shit and like kind of predict.
That's my goal right there.
It helps me visualize like the patterns and like everything. So
well, I think that's
maybe
when
it does.
Altcoins are probably going to break out when IWM breaks out too.
Yeah. I could see IWM hitting like 250.
Yeah,
sometime in 2025. So I'm hyped. This shit looks good. I'll pass it back over. Thanks, guys. But Bitcoin looks juicy.
I agree.
Yeah. One more. Sorry, Heidi, you're gonna say something. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say my target for Bitcoin is 124 this cycle. So
do you have a chart?
You want to see? I do have a chart.
Do you want to chart to back up what you're saying? Yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to prove it?
You got to prove it, or else it doesn't exist.
Yeah, 124.
Yeah. No. Can you guys see my chart?
No, you have to share it, just like A. Yeah.
Make sure you don't share anything else.
There we go.
I don't want to see anything else besides.
Can you guys see it now? Yeah.
Put some clothes on before you share.
We see your cup and we see your little handle there. Yep.
Yeah, and I posted this for you guys on September 17th, by the way, on the weekly for Bitcoin. So this was posted quite a while ago, actually, right before this big bull run. But I get 124 on this cup and handle.
Doable. That lines up. I think, and we're probably lowballing that shit, to be honest. It's like ETFs. If you got little shrimps like me aping into fucking Bitcoin, I can't imagine what the real millionaires are doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I put like most of my money into it. So imagine if you have someone with like 50 million and they're aping into it. That's nuts. Spot is definitely coming in. I forgot to show glass nodes. Does anyone monitor glass nodes and like open interest?
I don't tend to care about open interest because it seems to be a little bit more like short term to me, but there's certainly a lot of ETF inflows that's been happening.
Right now, open interest psychologically is what matters, because as open interest falls, right now we're at like 21, you get the bear case and you get a lot of fear. But when you look at glass nodes, you can really see that spot is stepping in, so it doesn't matter. This is literally what happens every bull cycle. You run it up with open interest and you drop it real quick, and then V-shaped recovery with spot. And it's going to be interesting to see that V-shaped recovery with ETF spot helping it. And then last cycles, it was an ETF and it did just fine. So that's why I'm just so bullish right now at this period.
So you're saying that you're going to guide us through the entire cycle and looking at all the on-chain, looking at all the, you're going to guide us through, right?
Last week, I think BlackRock bought like
5,000.
over $1 billion in Bitcoin. That was
$1
the
trillion.
last.
A bit,
Yeah, a trillion. No, a billion with a B, but yeah, a billion in a week. So yeah, that's impressive.
I haven't seen the whale alert, like the Tether $1 trillion print, or not $1 trillion, $1 billion prints. I haven't seen those yet. I guess we don't really need Tether anymore, do we? Or I don't know. But
No, we don't.
yeah, I don't think we need that anymore. It's kind of interesting in terms of where the money's coming from. How long you guys think a cycle is going to last?
I think we're gonna get the blow off top Q4 and maybe Q1, and then we have to, after like that type at Bitcoin hits 80,000, 90,000, 100,000, 125. I'm 150 million% selling 100% of everything, even my alts, because it's gonna enter us like it has to find a new range. It just can't continue up forever. So being realistic with the charts, that's the only time I'm going to trade it. So I'm lying. Maybe I don't hold forever. I'm holding to this next all-time high, and then I'll just stay on the side for, as long as I need to catch a move. But 2025, I think we get another leg up, especially and let's say they just talk about rate cuts, like, I mean, UK and London, they're already talking about the 25 basis, I believe, right?
I mean, I think if you look at the 2-year and 10-year yield, which really tells you ahead of time what's happening, it's been dropping for like a whole year, and now it's gone down to like 4%. I think it's probably going to go down to like 3.3, 3.5%, somewhere around 2025, based on like charts. So with that, they're basically anticipating that the Fed's going to cut more, and that's what the market is saying. And I have a hard time seeing the Fed not following that, because they generally tend to more follow market conditions. And that's what the market is kind of telling them. That's what the bonds are telling them. So I think they're probably going to keep cutting through 2025.
Makes sense. I mean, yeah, I gotta just adjust strategy per news on rate cuts at this point, because war news doesn't really scare me. It's just I would hate to sell and then they're like 75 basis. I'm gonna be pissed. So you just gotta be careful. No one's gonna
It
be
could
able to
happen.
time it right. It could, yeah, for sure. But
It could
at the end of
happen.
the day, if
Yeah.
I sell all my stuff for a profit, I won regardless, and I can always find something to put my money into.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, a lot of people, when they hear you like, "Oh, I'm selling out," it doesn't mean that you're out of the market. It just means you're finding other opportunities.
Yeah,
Like,
like
yeah,
selling Palantir, I'm already up, like over, like, I don't want to say how much, but I was selling half my position and rotating into a bunch of options on miners already made me more than what Palantir going to like $60 would have made. So and then, if Palantir drops, I'm looking to rebuy all my shares and some. So there is, my madness does make sense sometimes, but it's hard to implement it if you can't see the charts.
it's trades. Speaking of miners, I actually do want, before your wife wakes up, and also I want like Heidi's input too. Like, what are you looking at in terms of miners?
You want to go first there? I mean, I can talk a
No,
little
you can
bit
go.
about more.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah,
But I like your chart,
I think
Heidi.
out.
I think your cup and handle's on point.
Thank you, A. I bribed all the
Yeah.
guys this morning and said that they had to be nice to me. So just so you guys know, they're having to be extra sweet.
I'm gonna listen
Yeah.
to this.
So anyways, as far as miners go, I think we're going to see, as Bitcoin sort of moons, I think we're going to see more the pure play miners, the CLSK, Clask, Mara, Riot. I think those sort of moon. Lately, we've sort of seen that rotation into HPC, the AI type miner stock, and our pure plays were sort of stagnant there for a while, or even decreasing. But I think what the future brings, as long as Bitcoin cooperates, we're going to see more and more pure play miners is going to be my play, at least.
Oh, Danny is here.
Ooh, Danny's here too.
Let Danny talk. Yeah.
Danny.
Yeah.
Hi, Danny. Good morning.
Good morning. Good evening.
Good morning, Danny.
Did you make it
Oh,
home
yeah.
yet?
Good
or-
evening for you. Good evening for you.
Good evening.
Did you make it home yet, or are you still out and about?
I'm just back.
You just back.
Yes.
All right, maybe we'll just let you do what you need to do. And Heidi, you want to keep going? I mean, I don't
Yes.
know.
I like to hear
Oh,
the good voice of Heidi.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it's a
mean,
party. It's a party, all right.
yeah. So that was pretty much my macro comment. I mean, I can show some charts as
What's
to
your
where.
Yeah, Heidi, what's your top 3 miners that you're looking at? Let's just show some quick charts on like 3 of them.
Okay, so let me pull up. Let's see, I'll pull up
Yeah, you pull
Mara.
up. Mm. Is it frozen right now? I'm only seeing your Bitcoin cup and handle still.
Yeah, I think you gotta switch.
I think she's got a multi-monitor setup, so she might be looking at a different.
There you are.
There we go.
We see a
Can you guys
mirror
see?
chart.
You
Yeah,
see
now
a
we can.
mirror chart? Okay, this is on a 4 hour, so pretty short time frame. I've got this nice little descending wedge that resolves to 43.37, but I believe I see that as well on the daily. Yeah, on the daily as well. We sort of see this descending wedge, but on the. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Was somebody asking a question?
No, keep going.
No.
Okay. Yeah, so once I get to the weekly though, I see it's actually on the 2 week and the monthly. I see it resolving to a much higher price point of 180 is what I get for Mara. And so I'm seeing this little small cup inverse head and shoulders here. I don't know if you guys can see it. I should have marked it. But I also get this really, really large inverse head and shoulders on the monthly, and that resolves to 179 for Mara. Just
I think you just made. I think you just made a lot of people really excited. Explain yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it's really just what this resolves to, and it has been for a while. But I say that, and I was talking to a friend this week, and I do want to mention monthly charts do not resolve this month, so we're looking at potentially, months out where a monthly chart would resolve. So my weekly charts do not resolve to this week. So even though I get 43.37, that could be this month, that could be next month. And monthly charts, we could be looking at many months down the road.
Drives me
But yeah,
nuts when people can't comprehend that, and then I have to explain it. But what she said,
yeah. I mean, it's weekly charts do not resolve to this week. So, more so I would see a 4 hour chart or a daily chart resolve in the next couple of weeks. Weekly charts, I would expect, somewhere in the range of 6 to 8 weeks where it would resolve, and then monthly charts months down the road, possibly even a year down the road. So, even though we're seeing 180 for this inverse cup and handles here, that could be a year from now.
Let me throw something in. So you want to know what perplexes me with the miners? So me looking back at the charts, what if they never diluted any of their shares? So like how did dilution in terms of like TA, I can't like wrap my head around it. It really does perplex me. And like anyone have any insight on how you like factor in dilution with the charts?
I think the charts already factor in dilution. Like if it's
pre-programmed.
It's like a part of it, right? Like you're talking about anything, just like news, just like I think we have like a little bit of like a different camps here. One is TA is really telling you what the whales are doing. TAs are really telling you what is going on behind the scene, because you're not doing TA because you're doing TA. You're doing TA because you're trying to anticipate what's going on. You're trying to factor in a lot of different things that you don't know, that you cannot account for mathematically. You're trying to account for illusion. You're trying to account for news that they know behind the scene. You're trying to account for a lot of different things. You're also trying to see what the whales are doing, looking at different indicators. So that, to me, that's what TA is supposed to do. It's supposed to already take that into consideration.
I think all stocks also have all dilution because of stock compensation plans. Like us shareholders are paying for that, right? They're taking it out of our shares basically by adding more into the supply. So essentially, it all happens everywhere. So it's just part of the game.
Yeah, like Apple's stock price has been going up because they've been buying back. Like you can see that in the price action, right? So the same thing I think is happening to dilution too. Those are kind of my thoughts.
I have a quick question for Heidi. Can you tell me about a little about your process for making your predictions? Because I do see a lot of the pivot points on there. Is it go ahead.
Yeah, so for me, I generally I like fundamentals. I like fundamentals combined with technicals. So for me, I'm looking for a company with what I feel like is strong fundamentals, or possibly a earnings gap that also would trigger, my interest in a stock. And then I look for patterns on the chart and where they resolve at. And for me, I'm going to look at short term because I do trade in and out, but I also like to look at the longer timelines and see how are we seeing pivots in from the short term time frames, maybe a 4 hour or a daily, into the longer term and how those play out. Yeah. So, here is CLSK, and, you can obviously see on this 2 week chart, we've got also another beautiful cup with a handle here. So I would measure, this distance here to figure out what my next price point. And unlike A, I'm actually pretty good at math.
Ooh.
and so anyways, I see, from the top of this cup, we could be looking at $27. So I would be looking at, for a 2 week measure, I would be looking at, $50 perhaps for CLSK in a longer term.
Oh, so you're literally doing what I do. You're just doing a fib extension. You're doing an extension of the retrace from the bottom of the cup to the top, and
That's
you're
correct.
stacking it on top of where
Yep.
price turns around. That
Yeah.
probably makes sense why we get similar numbers.
Yeah, we get really similar. Your tracking and my charts generally get really close. I don't always look at a number and say, okay, well, this is the definitive number. It has to hit this number. It's more like a guideline for me.
Mhm.
So this is the target, like we were looking at Bitcoin was 124. So if I was looking to sell into that strength, I'm going to do it in pieces and sell, as we hit resistance levels. But it doesn't have to hit that specific number. But in my mind, we're going to get close to that.
See, I think you've not realizing it, you've taught yourself Elliott wave theory without realizing it's Elliott wave theory.
Quite perhaps. I count on you, Tracker, for Elliott wave. Like I go to your charts for Elliott wave. That's for sure.
Cool.
I go, Matt and Kat for Gan, and Danny just for Danny. And obviously A is spectacular with his charting. So I love the confluence of I'm sort of a pure chartist, and you guys do all these fancy things. And when there is confluence between all of us, I'm like, yes, that works.
Oh yeah, like right now, Matt confirming the 66.5 is he's seeing it as a support, and I'm seeing it as the key breakout needed on the weekly. So in my head, I'm like, yeah, baby, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, on our spaces too, we see a lot of things eye to eye too. So I think a lot of things are going up, but you think things are going to end a lot sooner than I do. I think things are going to go years because things are going to just exponential growth beyond belief that nobody can ever fathom because of AI and tech. So that's what I see.
Yep.
I agree. I agree.
My thing with that is just I'm curious to see the presidency. I really do think Trump winning is going to be a short-term catalyst to the downside, because I can't imagine the Dems letting him go into Jan office with a solid economy. And then I think if Camilla wins, that we're going to get a continuation of what's going on right now. With Trump, I think we're going to have gaps in between the bull market. I think it's probably just the rate cuts, keep it so just kind of playing it that way for now.
But I think if you're bullish over the next quarter or two, it makes complete sense for you to want to be in miners, because Bitcoin and Russell 2000, if those do well, miners are going to go exponential. That's kind of the way to look at that. And another point to talk about dilution too. Dogecoin dilutes all the time. It dilutes every single cycle. It's been diluting over and over again. And the market cap right now is 22 billion. The market cap for Mara is 5 billion. These miners, they're nothing in terms of market caps. There's a lot. They can literally pump 10x in the market cap and still be okay, it looks heated, it probably go down, but like compared to the great scheme of things, if they're the only ones that like have access to mining Bitcoin, like that's nothing. If you're looking at the future growth of like Bitcoin and you believe in the thesis of anyway,
You have to have miners, yeah, no doubt about it. That's what I've been sort of saying that for quite some time. That
Do I have enough,
obviously,
guys? Do I
Was
have
that?
enough to get
Jose?
rich?
You're heading out?
Do I have enough miners to get rich, guys?
Oh,
Do
enough
you have
miners.
enough miners to get rich?
Do I?
Oh, yeah.
Please tell me yes. Trying to
I've got a
retire
couple
by
points.
30.
Yeah, I have enough miners right now to feel poor, but I'm pre-rich, so.
I got a couple of things I wanted to say here real quick. First off, on the election, I think Kat and Matt would probably back me up on this. It doesn't really matter who wins. The economy, the global liquidity movements, it's a continuous wave, and the election is not going to really matter in the longer scale. 4 years of one term of this and 8 years of 2 terms of president. It's not going to change the course of human history. All this technology is already out of the genie's out of the bottle, and it's just the pattern is unwinding into the final form.
I agree, but also like if they keep running it up before the election, then there's going to leave so much space to retest a huge support zone below, and that could freak people out. But it would just be back testing support. So I can see what A is talking about too. They're if they keep running it up beforehand, there's plenty of room to tank things to scare people. But
yeah,
it would just
that's it. And then indexes just don't go forever up either. As soon as SPY hits like a 2-month little downtrend, the narrative flips to the bull market started, and it's the market makers essentially. Like the narrative doesn't even control the bull runs. It's the market makers. The market makers determine how long we go, and the narrative kind of just determines your entries and exits essentially. But it's all programmed already. They know how long it's going.
Exactly.
And the other thing that I wanted to point out is just that the reason why Matt and I and Kat, we just see this going on forever. The bull run goes on forever because, like I said, the genie's out of the bottle. All this technology starting to unpack itself. We're getting all excited about cryptocurrency because of the way price has been reacting to its appearance on the stage. But like we haven't even started using it for the use cases they're designed for. And once they actually start getting adopted and cryptocurrency is used as cryptographic information to hold truths to be self-evident and can't be changed. When you start using it for the use cases, then acceptance goes up even higher and they become even more valuable.
This is the S&P 500 in November in November 1963. JFK got assassinated. What did the S&P 500 do? It had a red candle right there. What it did after that, it didn't care. America's strong. Okay, I mean it's not. It doesn't mean that it's not a big impactful event. It just means that people don't like uncertainty, sure, but in the grand scheme of things, it's still a very stable political system, and like I don't think one person can really affect it that much, which is kind of how the market is being built. I just want to bring into the psychology. If you were sold when JFK got assassinated, you would have been doing it wrong. So
I saw a couple of questions here about people are asking me where my clutch chart resolves to, and that is going to be $48. And if you want to see the post on that, I posted the chart actually on October 13th on Twitter, hiding out. And I have a 2-week, a weekly and a 2-week, and the monthly. I have an inverse head and shoulders, which resolves to around 48 per class.
You can follow with an X right there. There's all of our handles.
Oh, very cool. Thanks, Matt. It's scrolling along the bottom of the screen there.
Yeah.
And then, and you can search for TA on any of us. All you have to do is you go to the X search tool, you put in our handle, then a space, and then you put in whatever ticker you're interested in, and then sort it by latest instead of by most popular. And it'll show, you can just like scroll through our back history and see everything we've ever written about any of those tickers. Hey, I've got one really cool thing I want to show. If you could show my screen, Matt. This is a trick. Let's see. There we go. This is a trick that Crypto Cantonese Cat taught me way back. I never even thought to do this, but in TradingView, you can just go in there and you can put in one miner. If you're interested in comparing miners, put in one miner and then a slash and then another miner. And what you're doing is you're doing a differential chart between the two. So you can see that Mara divided by BTBT means that Mara has not been doing as well as BTBT lately. But if this starts to recover, then just like any other chart, eventually Mara will do better than BTBT.
Yeah, well, if you look at the monthly, we've got BTBT up 41% and Mara's up 23% over the last month. That's a quick Heidi math estimate. But
so look at this real quick, guys. So I always notice MicroStrategy taking off, like diverging to the upside in comparison to Bitcoin, kind of like how the miners diverge to the backside. So if you pull up the monthly, it looks like MicroStrategy is giving some of that wick up to Bitcoin, and you can see Bitcoin kind of accelerating on the monthly. Just something interesting. And it happens every month.
60-something% on the last month, 62%.
So that's why I keep telling people, I don't think MicroStrategy is going to continue to outperform from here on out.
I agree with that too. Yeah, I mean, just looking at, I think the trend for MicroStrategy is starting to get exhausted. I can see it hitting like 500. Yes. I can see maybe even hitting a little higher, but the trend is starting to exhaust, especially when relative to miners. I agree with that.
Because remember, MicroStrategy hits these like hard runs, and then who's to say this mofo is not going to dilute again? I mean, how many times has MicroStrategy really ran, and then they hit us with the ATM or the dilution? But their dilution obviously.
And I see a dilution coming quick.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that happens in the very short run.
If they have one more time to dilute it with confidence, and it's in the bull market, and he's not stupid, so it's coming, and then that is only going to cause MicroStrategy to consolidate for like 2 months. So it's coming. People thinking it's going to continue to rip. I don't think so.
I think it's going up, but it might not rip as hard as the others. I think you're going to have some days where MicroStrategy outperforms miners. You're going to have some days where miners outperform MicroStrategy, but over like the next 6 months or so, I can see it that maybe the miners would end up outperforming MicroStrategy. I can see that.
I'm doing the stuff on the fly. Here's my Bitcoin divided by MicroStrategy, and you can see it's been in a long consolidation period, and it looks like eventually it will Bitcoin will break out and overtake MicroStrategy. There's a logarithmic chart, so you can really see the differences here. In fact, I kind of want to go back now that I've got this logarithmic. Let's make this the wave 1 and this the wave 2. I missed it, right? It's a double top there. Yeah, so look, this has gone 764, 50%, so 150% next. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't, I can't really tell anything from these numbers, but it looks like it's going to go here next. So yeah, Bitcoin should outperform MicroStrategy.
Okay, influence
over time.
No, it's okay.
But just to answer everyone's question, like everyone's asking, all my followers ask me, well, which is the best miner? I'm telling you, I guess I'm gonna have to do this over the weekend too. But you could literally take, one miner and compare it with another miner, like that, and then see. Oh, it looks like, Mara's been doing better than CLSK, but it's possible CLSK could end up doing better than Mara.
Yeah. So I think one of the viewers also asked about the target price for CLSK as well. Like, I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
I said 48. That's what I get on my charts.
48. Okay.
Yeah, 48 is what I get. And like I said, I have a full post on it. If you do a search on Twitter or X, if you do a search with my name and CLSK, a couple of weeks back, I put out the charts, and that's my target.
What are y'all's top like 2 miners? I guess we can kind of go through around like what are y'all's top 2 miners?
Let's do 3.
Let's do 3.
Do
Yeah.
3.
Kinda cool.
2 is such an ugly number. I like odd numbers.
Start out with A. Yeah. What's your
start
top
at
3?
A. Yeah. What do you think?
So number 1 is Queens. Oh, not. I'm rotating. So like I said, I don't like this. I don't like this Clean Spark news. So I don't like their increase in shares. I don't think it's going to positively affect the stock. So I'm rotating them out of top 1 or 3. So Mara's number 1, Cypher number 2, and Clean Spark number 3.
Cool.
I'm surprised to hear you say that. I thought you were going with Riot. Was that a short term?
No. I like Riot, but it's really bullish, and like I just don't think it's going to easily double. I think it's going to easily go to 18, but I don't think it's going to go into like a price discovery because of the fundamentals. Where I believe in like Cypher hitting like a price discovery. Riot is running right now. Riot is going to lead the pack in my opinion the next 2 weeks, but I don't believe it's going to continue to lead the pack because their management and the fundamentals. Yeah, that's more so.
Yeah, no, Phil, for me, Mara is number 1. And it has been, I mean, I've been sort of, Mara for a year now, but I think, yeah. And so I actually have a picture of me, like, Heidi kissing a pig. So Mara picks all the way, but I think Phil is excellent. And, for the most part, when he's not diluting for the C-suite, but, for the most part, for me, it's Mara, Clean Spark, and Riot. Yeah.
Okay. Do you got the rest of you guys like Matt or Tracker? You guys have any?
Yeah, I like. I'm more about the higher time frames, and the charts I love the most are like Corzi and Wolf. They all close super bullish, and Mara would be 3. Even though it's under a lot of resistance, still I still like Mara a lot.
Yeah. Tracker, do you have any favorites?
I'm throwing them right on the screen as we speak. Like, so for example, IREN in my 5 waves up resolves to 131% to the top of this cycle from where it is now. Clean Spark goes up 515% to the end of its cycle. So CLSK looks really good there. Mara resolves up 436% the top of its cycle. So that sounds.
What do you get for Mara? What do you get for top of your cycle Tracker for Mara? I can't see that number.
8696. Where I see the top of the current cycle. And you can see it's basically just, it's going to slightly exceed its all-time high. Then I'll have to pull back and test back for support. And then it can build off of that. So it's just like this 5-wave cycle that it's in right now. 8696. Just under 90. See, Clean Spark goes up to 59.42 for the end of my cycle this time. It could extend a little higher. Sorry, I've got these overlapping. It could go to the next one to like 62.78, but it's only a few dollars difference there between like a 2382 and a 2618 extension. But that's 515%. That's great. BTBT was let's see. I don't think I've got this one, but just why don't I have this one? Because I completely forgot about this miner. Is why. But I'd say just give this chart that maybe it goes to 78.47. So from here, 78.47. That's pretty good actually. Oh yeah, that's only 1,686% gain. I don't know if that's going to actually happen, but yeah, you would think it would at least test its 100% extension or retrace mark. Like it would go back to its all-time high and test it at least once. And that,
I sold you on BTBT last time too because you weren't so sure about it, and then it just skyrocketed this week.
I know. just to get back to where its all-time high was, that's 693% from where it is right now. So there you go. I think BTBT, I would definitely throw a little bit of money into that, even if it's risky. I'd throw it. It's worth the reward is worth the risk, I'd say.
So I'm gonna be a little bit crazy here. I think
crazy.
No, I think it's possible Bitcoin hits like 200,000, maybe around there this cycle, and it's kind of it's not. There are a couple of things I think I'm seeing it with GAN, I'm seeing with fit levels, I'm seeing with like IWM also could potentially pull another like 30-40% up to like 300. And to me, I think if that happens, I think Bitcoin should go a lot higher. And if that happens, I think Mara is going to go to triple digits. I think it's at least probably going to go to like 130, if not higher.
Yeah.
And I think CLSK is also going to probably hit like triple digits. Those are
Man.
kind of
180, 180.
Yeah,
I've got.
but hold up.
Hang on. Let me just follow up on Cat's
My
thing here.
Adderall kicked in.
So
I'm flying now. Hold up. Now I gotta cut you off here. How are we gonna fly in the bear market though? I just can't wrap my head around it.
Say that again.
How are we flying in the bear market though? You think we're flying in the bear market?
I think the cycle is a little bit slower. I think the wave 2 so far for like altcoins are just been really dragging.
True. You know what? Thanks for saying that, because
right.
Because I believe that too. Okay, good point.
Yeah, because you have the wave 2 drag on for like 6-7 months. Like this is absolutely brutal. The last cycle you did not have a wave 2 like this, so that actually sets up for a very powerful wave 3. And if you're setting up for a very powerful wave 3, that also means that wave 4 is probably going to be shorter, right? And you might end up, I'm looking for that wave 4. I'm going to get out, but I think that is setting up for a little bit of like a longer wave 1, wave 2. So wave 3 could come and it could be a little bit more powerful. And just like you said, if the rate cuts come in and everybody's like homoing in or whatever you call it, but but I just think that there's a potential. There's a lot of pent-up energy that's being built up just because if you look at the wave 2 for altcoins, it's just been going over way too long. So something big is happening. That's my rationale. Obviously we're gonna have to like keep looking at like Bollinger Bands, keep looking at how price action reacts, things like that. But I'm more bullish because of that.
So here's my Bitcoin chart. I published this on my my X channel just a minute ago.
Hey, Tracker, ladies first. Heidi.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Heidi.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that I just want to, for my charts, I want to clarify that for me, I have Mara and Riot actually outperforming CLSK in the long term. I'm talking about really long term. Like when I look at the quarterly charts, I see Mara and Riot actually, like Riot actually having a pretty, it goes to 180 for me. 175 and Mara goes to 180, and I only get CleanSpark going to 80 at the top. So I just wanted to clarify that.
That's not a wrong assumption. The only issue is that if you look at CleanSpark, it's hard to say because CleanSpark has been doing extremely well, even with the last 6 months. It's just been pushing like 4 FIB levels, going back to push through another 4 FIB levels, going back to like it's just got a lot of very impulsive price action, and it still hasn't really hit like the last cycle high. So I think that if it pushes through the 0.786 and it pushes through the last cycle high, it could make like a MicroStrategy move when it was pushing through its last cycle high as well. So it's still a very impulsive miner. It's still got a lot of juice left behind it, whereas I think MicroStrategy's momentum, looking at like the Bollinger Band things, it's starting to die. Like and CleanSpark is still not dying yet. Like it still looks like it's got a lot of juice behind it. Now, if you ask me whether or not like Mara is gonna like end up outperforming CleanSpark and things like that, I think it's possible, but I don't know if I'd necessarily say that CleanSpark is gonna end at 80. Like I don't know if I can say that. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. Sorry, Tracker.
It's okay.
Go ahead, Tracker.
Everyone's looking at my chart in the meantime while you guys are talking. I've got 94,130 for the next resistance, or not the next major resistance.
This is Bitcoin?
70,000. This is Bitcoin.
Okay.
This is like, these are monthly candles back here. And then 143,000 for the wave 3, or it's almost 144,000. Pulls back to 121,600. And then what was it, Kat, you said you thought Bitcoin might go to?
I think it's I think it can potentially go up to like 200,000. Yeah. I think it's possible.
$202,246.
Yeah, I think it's plausible.
Yep, that's what I got here for the top of the cycle. So I like this 2 years on, 2 years off, A trades. I'm gonna see what I can do with. Well, Matt's got his beautiful Gantt charts. He probably knows the answer already, but it'd be kind of fun to try to figure out timing for these.
Well, my minimum target now is 250,000. I've changed it for Bitcoin.
Ooh, so he's up here at the 350% extension off of this one too that I've got.
Minimum 2. Minimum.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think it's just a lot of even for miners, I think we're breaking out like a very prolonged wave 2 for miners. That's what.
I also meant to say that some of those the top of the cycles that I've got for these miners, this is going to probably be the top of the cycle for all those. Then they retrace a little bit, and then they build up even higher. So when I say, the top of Mara's cycle could be 86.96. I mean, that's when, when Bitcoin is up here at 94,000. Then it retraces as Bitcoin goes down to 78,000, and then Mara could go to let me see, another 82% times that. Whatever, if it just followed Bitcoin, all of this would go. So much for not having a technical show, Cat.
No. I mean, I think that the whole point is this: if you guys are having hard targets for miners, I think Bitcoin also goes higher. That's my whole point. The other couple of things I want to kind of brought into two. Danny, I don't know if you're there. Are you still there? Somebody was asking about your thoughts.
But I'll just conclude this by saying the next cycle after Mara could go to the triple digits, like you said, 256.
Yeah.
Or the next cycle of Mara after it tops out near 86.96.
Yeah, it's hard for me to visualize what Mara is going to do within the next 5 to 10 years, just because it's such a space is such competitive. It's really, really tough. But I can totally see some really crazy short-term moves happening. I can totally see that.
I want to put an asterisk on this whole thing, which is that the quantum computing is just around the corner, and when quantum computing comes out, they may not need these miners to do proof of work anymore, and it might be more of a proof of stake kind of situation because they could, one miner gets a hold of a quantum computer, buy some time on a quantum computer, and they'll just blow out the whole thing. The whole system would just break. So these miners probably won't run forever. The tech will change, and then their strategies will have to change as well.
It could change, but that also goes along the fact that Bitcoin is it's a usage of energy efficiency and computing efficiency, right? I think it's going to incorporate Bitcoin rather than breaking Bitcoin. That's what I think. But anyway, that's a little bit of a
there might be a new standard, based off of quantum computing.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah, Matt, do you have more charts to show or anything?
Yeah, I just changed my minimum target to 300,000 live on the air.
Yeah. You want to show your charts?
The longer we stay on the show, I think Bitcoin just gets to $1 million a share.
I have one of my favorite log scale Bitcoin charts right here, and this one's perfectly symmetrical all the way through from the blue level breaking out to the green level, and a perfect back test of that green level back in 2022. And now it's flipping an arc to a support. And guess what? The next level right here, 304,000. So that is going to be my minimum target for Bitcoin. So it just changed. Yeah.
Matt's got the most beautiful charts.
But you can't deny the symmetry right here. Previous, especially the blue level too. It was a perfect. It got rejected, then broke out. It got rejected, then broke out and back tested. And now it's flipping this arc for the first time. It's never closed a weekly candle below it either. Never, never, never. And that means it's going to go to 300,000. So you heard it here first.
I've got this great analogy between Matt's TA and my TA. My TA is like the old deep water navigation technology where the sailors would throw a rope behind the ship and they count how many knots went out, and then they try to chart their speed and the time of day. It's basically dead reckoning. My charts are dead reckoning from where price is now to where I think it'll be in the future. Matt's charts are like having GPS, where you can see the entire map with like all the longitudes and latitudes on it in advance, and you know exactly where you are, and you can see exactly where you're going. That's why I think his Gann charts are just the best TA on the planet. And Matt is like probably the best person you could follow. Like not the top 1%, like he's the top. Matt, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Matt's charts
Oh,
are the
so
best.
sweet.
Is,
I mean,
is Matt
I
top
even
in your mouth?
What was that?
What? That's a lot of echo. What did you say? Disappeared.
But I did get Tracker and Cat both addicted to Gann, so yes.
I think a lot of people misunderstand, right? Because the whole idea about Gann is not it's not to draw lines and sticks and that you think price is going to go there. The whole idea is that these are Fibonacci based. Like all of this is it gives you both a component of price and time, and it's been. Actually, it's just like if you use any indicators, if you go back test it with a lot of different things, it really has worked out very well. So it's not just like lines and sticks that we just draw. Like these are cycle based. A lot of these are growth assets. They are very cyclical. They follow cycle behavior, and they generally follow these kind of Fibonacci levels. And the Gann is just another way to kind of look at it that way. That's pretty much.
I mean,
and if you're, I would just say go back. I'm sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
Yeah, and people say that, oh, it's a hindsight tool, and it's not, because I don't change these charts. You guys can see how it reacts over time, and like this has been reacting off of this arc the whole time perfectly, and I've never adjusted it. So it's not hindsight at all, and it's basically proof that growth assets, once they break levels, they gravitate to the next level higher, and it's just proof this whole time for Bitcoin is proof for every chart, really. That's a growth asset. But like stuff like, I don't know, Mobileye or whatever like that, they're not really growth assets anymore. They're just, maybe they can go to zero. So those charts you can't use Gann for, because they keep making lower lows, and you need a lower low pivot point in order to be accurate. So that's that.
And I just want to say, like, you know, Fibonacci, it's not like some magical astrology thing. Like, literally, just go read up about Fibonacci sequences and Fibonacci ratios and who Fibonacci was.
They happen in nature all the time, too. Yeah.
The entire universe is based on these Fibonacci ratios. It's just the nature of physics in our existing universe that we live in. Everything that grows and dies, you know, grows and dies based on these Fibonacci these ratios.
Yes,
and the stock market is no different.
And these are Fibonacci arcs too. They're not part of Gann. They're just the arcs of Fibonacci. So they're based off the size of the square. So just the angles is mostly like the Gann kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think anyway, it's important to know that these are not these are not something that we just like fudge or anything. Like you're supposed to just print a duration based on certain numbers. You're supposed to just enter a certain ratio and it just pops up. Like it's not anyway. It's Danny there. I haven't heard from him.
Yeah, Danny, do we need to do your charts first so you can stay with us?
He's not listening, is he?
Danny.
Went back for seconds on his dessert.
Okay, maybe. All right. Well, if that's the case, I think we probably spent like an hour and a half talking about Bitcoin. So you guys want to talk about something else?
Well, I do have Danny's charts of Tesla and
Palantir. Tesla. Yeah, and I don't
want to talk about Tesla real quick. I'm very curious because I have a shit ton of the January or the December 310 calls, and I need a 250 to get out.
We do have a nail biter of a Danny chart right now.
So let's I don't know. I like to show Danny's chart if he's here, but like I don't want to go into too much of a technical.
You want to call him real quick just to see?
Yeah. Danny. Anyway, I do want to maybe show like some quick charts. I don't know. I know, Matt, you can probably get done with like 1 or 2 minutes. So go for it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to try to reach out to Danny while I'm just showing a Tesla chart or two.
Yeah, Danny's not Beetlejuice. You can't invoke him by saying his name 3 times.
Tesla and hymns. How about hymns? Tesla and hymns. I'm curious because I'm in heavy on those. Just quick run through. I'm curious what you guys think. I think hymns at 25, 26, like November.
Yeah, minimum 25. And
Thank God. You're seeing it?
Best, yeah. Yeah.
Quick before A's wife wakes up.
So we'll just
She's
do
up
Tesla
right now staring at me at the couch, so we're good.
Uh-oh.
Hi there.
My friend says hi, babe.
Based off of Danny's chart that we're going to show you pretty soon, and my chart right now, it's holding like support, right? We can see, I can just put on other stuff like the Ichimoku here. It's holding weekly support very well, the weekly cloud, but there is a lot of confluence now in the low 200s. There's a lot. Like there's my blue GAN level there at around 200 exactly. There's the baseline around 204.90. There's even like some moving averages on there that are in the 207s as well. So if this support does break, it could easily go back to the low 200s and retest this level. And if I just take off this for the market symmetry alone of Tesla, it wouldn't be a bad thing because you can see this blue level was a very, very important support and resistance zone, like resistance here, support here, resistance here. So maybe it needs to test it one more time. I know that's not what people want to hear, but maybe it does. Like, yes, levels change. Once a level of support gets broken, like that 242, it was broken, right? So that means I moved to the next level, and that's at current price. But if this level gets broken, then guess what? The low 200s could be that target. So everything is about levels of support, and I think what is necessary is to possibly retest that next week. So
pop it back over to me. I want to see if you guys see what I see on my Tesla chart real quick. Quick.
I think Danny's back, so we'll go
quickly. I'll be real quick.
You gotta
go on this shit.
Share your screen. Share your screen.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm pulling out Tesla. Cool. Let's see here. Boom. Share the screen. Tesla. Let's rock. All right. So Tesla.
Just for the person who asked if this is live, this is live. We're live right now. I mean, not when you watch it later, but right now it's live.
It's live right now.
So this is really what I'm looking at right now. Tesla closed the week off right here. Typically, when we get this move off the river on the middle, and the river is going up, we typically hit the move at least to the top of the river again before the move comes down. So with like continuation of the river going up, it's not, see what happens with price action when it goes down? It fails. It's actually starting an uptrend on the weekly. And this right here, the close above 218 was confirmation for me that we run next week. So I'm super bullish, and I feel, but then when I break it down here, we need to finish off. So it has till Wednesday to get back to this 225, or it is going to come down. So next week is not only like a critical week, but I think we have till literally Wednesday in my eyes to get back to that time.
Wednesday is earnings for Tesla.
Makes sense. And then another thing is ribbons are on short squeeze mode, and Tesla likes to do, typically we get the green to blue to red. Tesla is one of the only Mag 7s that always does this, and it'll go right back to green. So I'm pretty bullish Tesla, and right now it looks like it definitely wants to fall down, but based off of like past patterns and how it's traded, I think we're in for a nice run, man. I think this, Elon supporting Trump is what's probably negatively affecting the charts, in my opinion. He's been going ham, but even the monthly chart looks decent as hell. Still,
the monthly chart.
Perfect bounce. Good. All we need to do is close the monthly above 218 as well, and then it should set us up for a nice little bounce right here into November. That's how I'm seeing it.
Are you ready for Danny's chart? Danny, are you there?
Well, yes, I'm here.
Well, we got some news, Danny, don't we?
Okay, what news?
We got
Danny
the news
versus A. I pick A.
That's what
Danny.
We got the news of your chart, and the suspense is killing everybody. And we do have a yellow candle on Tesla.
I don't want to show to the public, because some will be very disappointed and scared about the yellow candle.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. But anyway, can you find a really yellow candle, the last candle? So, it took me 3 to 4 minutes to visualize that yellow candle. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's a tiny little doji candle right here, guys, if you can see it. Yeah.
Is that on the daily or the weekly?
This is the weekly.
That's a weekly.
Okay, that's not good.
And based on the historical pattern, you will find that the yellow candle has been most of the time accurate. Historical pattern of the yellow candle each time. So usually the bearish momentum or the bearish trend would last for 1 month. before the appearance of the red candle.
All right, Danny, I'm gonna make a post. Danny think Tesla down. Alex think Tesla up. We'll see who
Well,
comes back and wins.
I'm actually on the A
competition.
camp, but
I
that's
think
that's
I
a
just
different
wanna-
story.
I just want to. Can I point out something really quick, Danny? I just want to show,
Yeah,
like,
of
last
course,
time
come on.
the yellow candle appeared, it touched the bottom of the ribbon only. This time the yellow candle
Exactly.
appeared, the bottom of the ribbon is not very far away. Danny, you're breaking up. You're breaking up, Danny. Your connection is not so good.
Okay.
No, it's still breaking up. Yeah, I can hear you now. I think it's better now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And before the show, I tried to measure the lower boundary of the price level in the red ribbon, and that was around 208 and 210, which means that Tesla has to hold on to this as a final support. 208 and 210.
So that's the bottom of the ribbon right there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be the
Okay.
price level for the lower boundary of the red ribbon. So for the typing, actually, the way the candle closed somewhere in between. I think in the middle of the red ribbon. Yeah, and actually on the right hand side, just close to the volume shelf, you will find a very important price level, which is 220.32. That would be a very important level that Tesla has to close above, so that the midterm uptrend can sustain.
And it did.
So,
It did close
yeah.
by that.
Yeah, it did. So, Paul, when will Tesla announce the earnings?
Wednesday after market
Wednesday.
close.
Yeah,
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So I don't know whether that will be a catalyst or just another sell-off event. You know, it mainly depends on the earnings. If the earnings are impressive, so probably the really yellow candle can flip into red one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if
the chart
not-
certainly
Very easy.
seems
Yeah.
to match the trepidation that everyone has over where the stock is right now.
Well, another thing I wanted to point out too, Danny, is like
Yeah.
week over week, there's been more whale accumulation, even though the yellow candle, and less retail too, right?
Yes, sir.
I also
Okay.
want to point out one thing.
Yes.
Not the last red candle, but the red candle before that, and yeah, well, no, not that one. I don't know how to point the screen, but the one that's right in the middle of the blue ribbon.
Yeah.
You see what I'm talking about? Yeah.
This
That
one
one?
right here, right?
Yeah, I see it being very equivalent to that. You see what I mean? But inverse.
Okay.
Because this candle, this blue candle, did go kind of below that red candle, just like this blue candle did. But there never was a yellow candle there until here. You know.
Right.
Let me say
what I'm
one
trying-
thing on the weekly
Hang-
time frame. When we bounce off the river, it has never failed. Let's get it, baby.
So the whole idea is the yellow candle happening right now is it still didn't close underneath like half of the red ribbon, just like the red candle, not the last one, the one before that, right inside of the blue ribbon right there.
Yeah.
It didn't really get halfway through the blue ribbon, right? So you want to take that into consideration too. Like it didn't really quite get to where you really should be that worried about it on this time frame. And you also have, over the last couple of weeks, increase in well accumulation. You also have reduction in retail. So it does make me a little bit more suspicious about this yellow candle. Like, it's one of those things that you don't look at a yellow candle and you're just going to say, like, oh, bearish. Like, that's not how this system works, right? Like, you have to take into consideration. So those are kind of my observation in terms of the current yellow candle. It may or may not work out. Like I think that you have to take it because it still looks like it hasn't pierced halfway through the red ribbon. So.
And these yellow candles are way different than these yellow candles. This was below the ribbon and it got rejected, and these are basically just a retest of support yellow candles, right?
So that's why I have mentioned 208 to 210 is very important level that Tesla has to close above for the continuation.
So are you worried, Danny, about this weekly candle?
I'm not worried because it can change, anytime if the earnings are impressive.
And if they're not impressive, are you worried?
And that would be a sell-off event, and probably Tesla is going down to 208 and 210.
You want to know the psychology of ER for Tesla has not played out, because last time they had pretty decent and it tanked. So wouldn't you think that, let's say everyone's anticipating it to be bad and it goes up? So I don't know. You never know with ER. So I feel bullish going into ER.
Your connection.
Danny, you're cutting off again. Yeah.
I have a Tesla. I have a Tesla chart here if you guys want to see it.
Yeah, sure.
Are you done with yours, Danny, or anything else you want to show?
Yes, one more thing before I forget. So panel 2, you will find that's the red bar shift to green one, indicating a bearish, at least for the time being, bearish sentiment. And that bearish sentiment can last for weeks, unless there will be some catalysts.
Okay. And are you worried about this MACD maybe crossing back below too?
No. But RSI, it seems to be stabilizing.
Okay.
Because the three sets of the RSI are just curl up to the upside.
Okay.
Monthly is still okay, right, Danny?
Monthly is still okay. Don't worry.
Yeah, there's still a monthly red candle in effect.
Yeah. Heidi, please show your chart. I also want to spend maybe a couple minutes with Tesla, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, go ahead, Heidi.
So if you can you guys see my
Yes,
Tesla chart
go
here?
for it.
Okay. So I've got a triangle.
Yeah.
Oh, Danny, are you done? It was hard for me to hear him.
No, we can
keep talking. Keep talking.
Okay. So I have a triangle being formed here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it resolves to 423. But if it doesn't resolve to 423, it resolves to 54. I'm not lying. That's where that goes. And that's on the weekly for Tesla. So, I was kind of hoping for the 423. I'm in calls for January.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like you got a cup and handle there inside your triangle. Maybe even inverse head and shoulders.
Yes, definitely right here. You see the little inverse, but I always like a triangle. It's the strongest shape, as we've discussed. But I see it resolving to 423. And that's on a weekly. I just want to reiterate, because I saw a couple of comments there. Weeklies do not resolve this week. It could take literally 6 to 8 weeks for a weekly to resolve.
So let me just touch base on this. So you're 100% right. But this weekly bouncing off the river essentially just sets up, like, the daily can come underneath this 218. But essentially in my head, the river is like by Friday, let's say we start off the week bad, but by Friday we're going to be back above like 218. Maybe it's stagnant in this 218, 220, 225 range, but the bottom for me on a long-term perspective is definitely in, and Tesla's on its way up. That's how I'm looking at it, if that makes sense.
I like it. I'm in calls.
You mind if I show my charts too?
If Heidi is done, Kat, you can.
Yeah, I'm done. It was a very simple, and I already posted this for anybody on Twitter. This is already posted on, I think, like 2 weeks ago.
This is a monthly chart of Tesla. This is a Bollinger Band. The median here is 20-month moving average. And you can see this across the board with pretty much a lot of different assets. You can see it on IWM. I can't even type. Not IW. You can see it on IWM. And wherever you have something like a negative curling 20-month moving average, and I like to look at a higher time frame because it's really, really powerful. If you look at a negative sloping 20-month moving average curling positive, it flips it from resistance to support. Generally, you have a very powerful trend moving up, especially with the Bollinger Band expansion over here, right? Same thing happened over here. You have this kind of slump over here, but as soon as it turns positive sloping, it goes up, right? And IWM is a perfect illustration for this because it's very cyclical. You can see that over here too, same thing happened, right? Flat to downtrending, pointing up, very powerful bull trend. And this just keeps happening over and over again. If you look at NVIDIA, same thing. It basically, if you're having a little bit of like a downward slumping kind of thing, and you end up having positive slope, and you be able to bounce off the 20-month moving average, a big move happens, right? Same thing, flat, bear market, flat, positive sloping, big thing happened, right? Let's go back to Tesla here real quick. not taxka. I don't know what that is, but
I like where you're going with this.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying here is what's been happening. Why did we not find support over here on the 20-month moving average? It's because it was negative sloping. It's still a bear market. Overall, this is still more bearishness than bullishness, right, over here. So that's why we bounced both of that over here, but it didn't hold. Initially, I was thinking it might hold if we ended up having a 20-month moving average flattening over here, but it didn't do that. It just kept on going negative sloping, right? Well, what's happening right now? You have a fundamental shift over here. You have a trend change over here with the 20-month moving average going downwards, and right now you're actually pointing upwards. And what's been happening? It's been serving as very poor support over here. It was resistance all along here. And right now it's looking like it's pretty decent support, right? On top of that, it's not just that. You're looking at the monthly Ichimoku cloud. You have a lot of support underneath. You have the bottom of the cloud right there around like 213. You have these ticket and kitchen lines down underneath as support. And you just have a lot of different kinds of support here. We look at the weekly here. We're right at support. We're right at the Ichimoku cloud support right here around 200. You're also looking at another confluence of support, which is the Buran support band, and it's been positive sloping. What has the Buran support band been doing? It's flipped from resistance over here to support, right? And if you're flipping from resistance to support, generally it tells you that some pretty decent bullishness is going to come. I mean, granted, you have a little bit of flattening of the Buran support band over here, which means that, hey, maybe it can break down potentially, but it's just got so much confluence of support zone over here that it makes me feel
so
that
looking at your chart,
Sorry, go ahead.
Looking at your chart real quick, I take it as, look at that huge ass red candle the previous week. Why didn't we get another one? That means the buyers were showing up. They stopped it, and decision time is going to be next week. Candle. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a mega green candle next week due to that candle.
Awesome,
we should have proceeded with another big red candle with how big
that kind of shows.
I see an island reversal. Yeah. I see an island reversal right here. That's what I see. Because there's no volume. Like if the bears could have pushed it down further, they could have done it so easily. Because there's
but the whale accumulation went up week over week from last week.
Right.
So
I actually posted about that. Yeah. Yep, they were buyers.
Even if I was wrong, if it goes down, it's a buying opportunity. If it goes down to 200, oh heck yeah, I'm buying more. Like this whole setup over here is telling me that like the longer time frame it looks good. Shorter time frame, it looks like I'm smelling like they just, this is like a perfect island reversal if it works out. We're like no volume. So I mean, I just probably Monday, Tuesday, probably nothing. And then Wednesday we'll see. Like obviously earnings always tricky. But I also like the fact that it's plummeted down right before earnings. This is great.
Oh yeah, me too. Run it up, boys, coming up, boy. We here.
Yeah. All right, I'm done talking.
Yeah, I actually want to show one last thing on my chart too. As far as Heidi saying 54 is possible, like I don't think the market symmetry agrees, because look at last time, the arc when it was flipping it back to a support right here in this orange arc back in 2016 and 17, it did the exact same thing right now. And then once it got above that orange level, it never really looked back. It did do a V bottom before it, but that was the support and it took off. And so now it's repeating itself. It's going down that arc again, and it's flipping this level to a support again, just like here, right? So this is really confluence, in my opinion, that no matter what, good earnings, bad earnings, whatever, this is a line in the sand, like 202, and basically that is confluence with what Kat was saying, like the low mid 200s are like 204, 206, 207, like those numbers, or even down to 202. That could be your max pain scenario if there were bad things, because it is flipping this arc to a support and this level back to a support, which was obvious support back here as well. So the market symmetry is saying this is going to hold a support and things are going to go to 3,000. So,
well, and I just want to clarify here that I am not a Tesla bear. I am just telling you where the triangle resolves.
I know.
I'm going, I'm in calls. So
no, I know you're not a bear. I'm just saying,
not at all.
The symmetry doesn't show that it's going to go lower. Because
that's just what the triangle resolves to. I actually did probably 4 Tesla posts this past week, actually, in pretty much sync with what A just said, that we're seeing this huge volume price analysis of lots and lots of buyers at these low levels. So I want to make sure everyone knows I'm a Tesla bull, not a bear.
It's very important because if you show a chart with lower targets, you have to give the probability too, right? It's very
Yeah.
very important. And I think the probability of going down to 58 is going to be like me marrying Matt and we have a baby together. That's is it possible? Like, is it possible? Maybe, right? But like, I have like there are a lot of things I have to go through. I have to divorce, right?
Yeah.
He has to turn gay. I have to turn a little gay, and then like I have to like one of us have to change our organs, and the organs have to work.
Homo.
Not just like anyway. I can keep going. The probability is
Yeah.
low.
No, and
So,
that's
but-
why whenever I posted it online, I didn't even mention it. But it does it does resolve there. If it doesn't
Yeah.
go up to the 423, it does resolve there. So I'm just using
Yeah.
math.
No,
No,
it's completely reasonable. I think it's
It's-
good to put in probability. I think probability is low. So we're
Yeah,
gonna.
the
I
math
agree.
says it's not
Agreed.
impossible, but the market symmetry is saying this is a mini-me of
Improbable.
what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, is what's happening now. Because look at it, even the bottom arc was a resistance for a while and a support. Same thing here, bottom arc, resistance and support. Top arc, floating down on the monthly chart. And it's just doing the exact same thing. And like what Kat was saying with the monthly Ichimoku, you can just see all this confluence right there. Just right there, like so much in this zone. So it doesn't even matter. It looks more like month over month, it hasn't looked this bullish ever. Really. Since
Matt, if you pull back just a little bit, so it was like it was following a previous lower arc, then went to the higher arc, and then it just skips through a set of arcs. Do you think it could skip through the next set of arcs?
Possibly, but I think once it gets above the monthly Ichimoku, it'll probably launch mode back to the 45 to the thousands pretty quickly. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's the 45 that he's got his pointer on right now.
Yeah. So and that's $1,000 right there in December, right? I don't know. I'm not saying it's
I
going to
know.
go to $1,000 in December, but I'm saying
At
it's possible.
423.
I actually like the fact that it either resolves one way or another, because that actually tells me that technically it's great. And if the probability goes one way or the other, and if we've just been going sideways, if the volatility is going to shoot us one way or another, I actually feel extremely bullish that you show us that, Heidi. Like, that was actually really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I'm also
there's-
expecting like a huge, parabolic move. So, like, if it doesn't touch Matt's 45 in December at 1,000, that just means it's going to touch it in like July at what is that, like 1,300? What's in July?
July 25 would be 1360. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Want to talk
It's
about
going to be one or the other.
hymns? I think we gotta go. I gotta go in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, let's
Oh, you gotta go?
Well, I gotta. Yeah, we have to do our thing later. But
So
yeah,
we're not going to do Palantir or anything? No.
I think we can do hymns real
Let's
quick,
do it.
Yeah.
and then
Let's
we can
do
go to
Palantir.
Palantir, because I think Danny has a Palantir chart. So, and then we can
I
end
want
the
to see
show.
if selling at $40 was a mistake. I don't think so.
So my HIMS chart is super bullish. It backtested that 886 in 1969, and it flipped my arc to a support. So basically, it did do what I wanted it to do. It got on the top side of the arc, and it looks like it's going to gravitate back to 25. I even have like a linear scale GAN for HIMS as well. And I like this one a lot because it also got above that. It closed a week above that arc, which it has never done since right here. It's never closed a weekly candle above this top arc on linear scale. So this is a super bullish development in my opinion. And I want to see this kind of hold next week. Next week, that the bottom of the arc does sit around 2187. So as long as like 2180s kind of holds as a support day after day next week, I think this is just going to launch higher. So
If you have time to go back and compare the chart for Bitcoin and HIMS, they to me they look the same.
Can I show my HIMS chart next?
Okay, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. Anyways, let's go.
I'm not.
Let's go
I'm not telling you to do it. Anyway, yeah, tracker list. Let's go.
All right, cool. So here's the price targets. They're real easy to see.
Ooh, look at that. No retail on yours. Yeah.
You can take a screenshot if you want. Yep, here's the MCDX Plus, no retailer at all. The 22.26 price was acting as resistance this week, and because it's going to be support later, I see it as going up to 31.06 next for the 76.4% fib extension. Then it could possibly retrace back to 38.20. I'm sorry, to 22.26, the 38.2% fib, and from there it goes on up to the 1618. I'm becoming more bullish with my charts now. I used to go from the 382 to the 1382, but I think that was a 2023 to 2024 thing. I think in 2025, I'm gonna have to start doing all my charts extending to the 1618 and not be stingy with that anymore. So I think from wherever on support after 3106, it's gonna go to 5072 next, and then tops out at 7374 for the 2618 fib extension. And there you go. Oh, by the way, that's a let's see, from where we are right now, the Wave 5 extension is a 228% increase.
Wow.
What I do is I pull these to the support level. So from the Wave 2, it's 125%. And the Wave 4, it's 100%.
If you
A,
flip
do you? I'm wondering if I would love to see A's chart as well on him because it's so different.
I have a bunch of options in HIMS. I bought the $32 January calls. So I bought a bunch on Friday at 15 cents. When they pulled back, I sold a bunch at 75 cents, and I'm just cooking with HIMS right now. I think it's super bullish. Let's look at it 1 second.
Is that what you're seeing on your chart?
Why are you pulling? Why are you pulling it? Let me do like 10-second thing. If you can flip over to me real quick, Matt.
Oh, 10 seconds. Huh? So I think you need the pill.
You need
the pill for
flip over. 10 seconds.
8 seconds
Top
left.
part right here is
HIMS.
Top part right here is HIMS. Bottom is Bitcoin. They're the same chart. They're basically going through like the same liquidity cycle right now. I'm done.
So you need to buy some.
I have Bitcoin. I have miners.
I just want to directly address a question in the chat. Guys, do you ever take recession into consideration? Tesla $1,000 in July 2025.
Have you ever taken recession into consideration after we had essentially a Nasdaq drop like 40% in 2022, after we had a crash in 2020, after we had a crash in 2018 because of the tariffs? I think it's anyway. A is taking it into consideration very seriously, but I think that I do want to go to Palantir, and I'm gonna have to go. So
yeah, I'll go to Palantir. But yeah, recession. People are not taking into the exponential growth factor either. That AI is deflationary. People don't take that into consideration. But
the bottom line
Palantir,
is we don't see a recession.
No, I don't see a recession. No, I see really big growth, really big growth, huge growth that nobody can even fathom because it's never happened before. Danny, are you there for Palantir?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Here we go.
So actually, daily chart. This is daily or weekly? Daily.
Daily chart, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have the weekly chart?
Oh, you want weekly instead? Daily is too boring now.
Okay. Yeah. Let me see. Daily and weekly don't make too much differences because they are too bullish,
Yeah. Here's weekly chart. Still super bullish.
Yeah. Exactly. They look more or less the same, in terms of the wealth accumulation, in terms of the bullish trend. And actually, I haven't included the new indicator, which is the volatility black hole. But Matt knows, I just said this morning regarding the volatility black hole, which means that Palantir is going to be more volatile if the upper level can be reached above.
Agreed.
Yeah, I can just sum up the chart in 4 words. Patience is the key.
Yeah, so this chart there's nothing bearish about the weekly chart, and the whale accumulation is at 97%, and just all these red bars. Yeah, it's just really, really bullish.
Yeah, the only thing that I don't like is that the RSI, the final panel, the RSI, is still overbought around 81 on the weekly chart.
Yeah.
But overbought can be more overbought. It can stay at that level for a long time. So, and especially on the volatility black hole, that gives me the clue that it's going to be highly volatile in the weeks to come, in the days to come.
I agree.
Yeah.
Very good.
And so far, there has been no buy or sell signal. So for those of you who are holding Palantir, patience is the key. And there's one more level which I would like to highlight based on my chart system of the chart, and that is 37.21. This is the level for the continuation, for the formation of the upcoming bullish trend. So
you said 37.21?
0.21 on my
Okay.
daily chart. Yeah. So closing below this level would trigger a downtrend.
Okay, so that's still pretty far away, so we're good.
Yeah. So hopefully we don't see any dip below this level. So in case there's a minor pullback to 40, it's still very healthy. It's even more bullish for the long-term trend. Yeah.
That's what I've been saying on my weekly recaps that I do on X. That basically if $40 holds, that's super bullish.
Yeah.
It's been showing a lot of incredible strength on the daily. Like we had like the 3-4 day downtrend, and it looks like it just wants to keep going up again.
Exactly.
So, yeah. I mean, I think that there are a couple of ways. Like the way to kind of think about it is Palantir has been one of the stocks that's showing up less like a bullish market sentiment. You can keep on just staying in Palantir. It looks like there's no warning sign. You can keep doing that, or you can be like trading into something more risky, like what and maybe what like Heidi's doing too. Into something a little bit more like riskier and even capture more gains if you know what you're doing, if you believe in, getting into other things. I think that's kind of like the more of the story for today. Yeah. And then Tesla is still, there's a little bit of warning sign, earnings coming. You never want to play earnings because there's, a lot of volatility, unless if you're a great trader like A and Heidi and everybody else here.
But even they're bullish on Tesla.
Yeah, even they're bullish. Yeah, I still remain bullish. Yeah,
Very bullish.
Right, regardless of the yellow candle or not.
I want to be surprised by a giant green candle, but I think for Tesla, it is possible to retest the 20675, that level. It is really possible. So
it's possible, but there's still a lot of confluence as support before it goes down there. Right?
Of course.
That's the thing. Like as support, I don't want to just eye like a slightly lower level because it may or may not hit.
But people need to prepare for something that could happen. But basically, the high time frame monthly chart still super bullish.
Yeah, and it can go down there. It could be like a little tiny wick on a monthly, and honestly, it depends on your time frame. But I want to thank you. I'm sorry, it feels like I'm kind of rushing and quieting people down, but I just want to give everybody a final chance to say goodbye and kind of share your final thoughts before we go. So I'm gonna call on everybody. Danny, thoughts?
My thoughts?
Yeah.
Ride with the trend and
ride
with the trend and be patient instead of trading in and out to miss out the long-term rally.
Yeah. And then Matt, your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are essentially on right here. We need to understand that everything is at a resistance level here. SPY, Dow Jones, right? The SPY, the QQQ, IWM on linear scale, it's all at resistance. So we need to understand that everything in the market's at resistance right now, but it has the potential to blast through and just take off. And I am cautious at resistance, but I think what's really going to be happening in the future is just something that people cannot even think of because it's never happened before. So I think things will continue for years and years and years, and great things. And Bitcoin to the moon.
Yeah.
Tracker, final thoughts before we end the show.
No, I'm gonna say ditto. Like
You're so chill. Ditto. Okay, fine. Let's move on. Heidi?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Tracker and Matt and Danny. I mean, we're all in agreement. I think Bitcoin to the moon, focus on pure play miners, and yeah, you guys will be rich, right? Not financial advice.
and then final, but not least, a final thought. Thank you for joining, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to say, not everyone is skilled to go in and out. So if you can't, just hold on to that shit for long-term targets. But learn the charts, guys. Learn the shorter time frames. Get comfortable with them because that's where you're going to find the best entries, exits, and profits. I always add to my long-term portfolio, luckily, with my short-term trades. But everyone in here is a killer in their own way. I appreciate you guys, and I learned a lot today from the charts, guys. I mean, you guys brought some confidence with Tesla for me. Thank God, because needed that.
Yeah, even with that yellow candle for Danny, I think it's just a back test of support.
I think it's just temporary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a wonderful time as always. I'm gonna go pee now. Maybe that's why I'm so hungry.
That's why you're so running out the door, right?
Yeah,
No,
that's
It's
put
been
your
2
pants
hours.
down.
dude.
Put your pants up, cat. Put your damn pants up. Run live.
How do you know I'm wearing pants? Anyway, the whole idea, I think we'd like to keep this like under 2 hours. I think it's a good rule to have in general. Just because it gives us an expectation that we can talk and then we can share thoughts, but then it gives us like a little bit of urgency to put our best out there. So I think I like to keep these things to like 2 hours, and you guys put your best out there. So thank you for that.
All right. Well, don't cut off, Kat. Go use the bathroom and come back, and we'll do a little chat after the show among ourselves.
All right, I'm out.
I do want to plug 2 paid services. That one is the one that Matt does. He's got a Patreon where he TAs all of his charts out for everyone. He does like these fantastic daily and weekly and monthly recap videos, very in depth. I highly recommend it. He's going to be
Just started a new tier. Yeah.
Yeah, he's channeling all of his trade information, the live trades that he makes to his Patreon, his new tier of Patreon. And I've got a $2 subscription on X. Like I made it super, just insanely cheap on purpose because I wasn't trying to be greedy. I wanted as many people as possible to be able to benefit from this. Originally, just to be like a support thing. You could just chip me $2 so I can do my TA for free on X, and that didn't work out. So I'm just sort of flipping the script on it. And now I will always do my TA for Tesla for free, and whatever else comes to my whims. But I've got an amazing spreadsheet tool now where I have every single chart that I'm tracking linked, hyperlinked in the spreadsheet, along with like the live dollar figures and my next price targets and how many percent gains left to hit that target. And it sorts it by that, so you can see like right at the top of the spreadsheet which ones are the closest to the point where it's time to buy or time to sell. It's a great tool right out of the gate. I'm really happy with the way it's working. The people that are subscribed for only $2 a month to my service are really loving it as well. I invite you to come click on my X profile. It's at SBZUNG in the Tesla tracker, and enjoy. It's only $2 a month. If you don't like it, then just don't re-up the next month. But I think you'll find it an insane return on investment for your $2. And that's my plug.
All right, guys. Been fun. Have a good one.
Thanks everybody for coming to our Catterday show. We love doing these Catterday shows.